are very fortunate enough today to have with us a gentleman who's going to talk to you about some of those aspects of your life that are so important. I have asked him particularly to make sure that you understand what bullying is. Mr. Tory Gant travels all over the United States talking to kids. He's done a lot of work with previous gang members that he's helped get out of gangs. He talks to workers in corporations. Mr. Gant has dealt with an enormous number of people. He knows a lot about what it takes to have a successful life. And today, we are fortunate because he's going to share some of that with you. So may I welcome to Duncanville High School, Mr. Tory Gant.
All right, good morning, y'all. So here's what I'll do. Whenever I need to get your attention, I'll see if y'all can do this with me. I'll say if you can hear me clap once, hear me clap twice. Ooh, some of y'all don't have no rhythm. Okay, one little girl missed. All right, come on, let's do it together. Ready? If you can hear me clap once, hear me clap twice. So whenever I do that, that means I need to get your attention. And some of you guys who keep clapping, settle down. It's going to be okay. Now listen up. I'm from Austin, Texas. How many of y'all know where Austin, Texas is? Okay, live there now. I grew up in a place called Lubbock, Texas. How many of y'all know where Lubbock, Texas is? And as I was saying to the adults earlier, it's good to be from Lubbock and not still in Lubbock. Now, I'll talk to you guys and just be straight out blunt with you and be right up front because, you know, understand this, you're freshmen and you guys have got every right to do everything you need to do, but it's got to start now. Now, I believe this with all my heart. The way you start will indicate how you're going to finish. I'm not supposed to be standing here, and I know in this room with me we got something in common. A lot of us got something in common. The one thing we got in common is a lot of us in here have buried relatives. A lot of us have buried brothers and sisters. And I stand here because a lot of people did some things right in front of me. I also know that in this room, there's 4 goals of misbehavior that all of us have had to share. And I know especially me and the adults around this room will tell you the same thing. We also share these goals of what made us misbehave. One goal was power. Another goal was revenge. Another goal was attention. But the other goal was the display of inadequacy. Because see, when all the stuff started to go down before I even got to my freshman year, before I even got here, and all the deaths started happening, and my 2 brothers died back to back from cirrhosis of the liver, from drinking alcohol till they drink themselves to death. By the time I got to high school, my attitude wasn't right. So this little smile you see now, I had to actually sit down one day after going to funeral after funeral after funeral after funeral and say, one day, I want to wake up and smile. Now I walk around like this. Now, how many of y'all know this look crazy? Come on, don't it look crazy? If you can hear me clap once, hear me clap twice. The cool thing about it is you can think it look crazy, the next person can think it look crazy, but I don't care because you never cried with me. You've never been through what I've had to go through, so I'm gonna stand here and look like what I am now, not from what you think of me. So we talk about all these things about bullying. How many of y'all got issues in your life? Raise your hand. And those of you who did raise your hand, you have an issue of lying because we all jacked up some kind of way, right? You can hear me clap once, hear me clap twice. As Miss Judd told you, I travel all over the nation, even out of the country speaking. I do a mentoring program. So when you see enough people hurting, you know the clue of what you're called to do is by the thing that hurts you the most. And when you've seen enough people go through things, if you've seen enough people beaten, if you've seen enough relatives mistreated, if you've seen enough things happen in your own personal life to where you sit up and go, you know what? Something's got to change. See, I don't stand here because I have it all together. I stand here because I want to see you get it together. See, I don't want to see kids as troublemakers, but I do see kids having trouble making it. See, I could have died like the rest of the people. I could have died like everyone else. So we got to think about this. Whatever happened around you, whatever happened in front of you, whatever happened to you, you got the right to keep it from happening in you. Now, I'll be honest with you. When I walk into the airport, they check my bags every time. I go up there like this, and they're like, open your bags now. Because there ain't no way in the world you should be this happy at 6 a.m. in the morning. And I'll walk in there, and I'm like, well, check it out then. And I'll walk in there, and they'll check my bags. I go, what y'all find? Look at that section right there, because I worked out. That one's messed up. And I want you guys to do this for me. Think about this one thing I need you to do before any of this ends, is that you have got to become you. You cannot be something for somebody else. You can't walk around here and look like this and dress like everybody else. You've got to be you. Now, I have a twin. My twin came out first. My twin is 6'1". Look at me. My mama had a whole minute. She didn't eat a granola bar, nothing. Look at me. And my twin and I, we'll go around, we'll joke about this type of thing. But one thing my mother said, you came here, you got here. There are many kids that don't even get to get here. Make the best of you being here instead of complaining about how you got here. And I know some of y'all look there and you're thinking, man, you know, like, man, what is this dude doing? What is this dude talking about? What is this dude all about? Let me tell you something. One thing I know for sure that I'm about surviving. Now, I'll sit here and stand before you guys, and one of the things I love to do, I have an addiction to working out. I love lifting weights. My last powerlifting meet, I bench pressed 420, squat 600, deadlift 700 pounds. Now, listen up. My kids and I'm married, beautiful wife Rita, 3 kids, and one year I speak at Disneyland every year. One year we went to Disneyland, and my 4-year-old son, who's 11 now, but when he was 4, walked up to me and said, Daddy, let's ride the roller coaster. And I said, I don't do roller coasters. He go, no, Daddy, let's ride the roller coaster. I said, man, I don't ride roller coaster. Go get your mama. He go, no, Dad, let's ride the roller coaster. I said, man, I told you I ain't riding a roller coaster. So I did what little kids do to their parents when they don't want to do stuff. I threw a tantrum right there in Disneyland. Fell on the ground kicking. My son took off walking. Now I knew if I wanted to live, I needed to go after him. Because if I go back to my wife without my son, I'm going to get beat down. So me and my son were walking to the roller coaster, and I'm sitting up here and I'm going, man, I don't want to ride a roller coaster. I don't want to ride a roller coaster. I'm acting crazy in public. He said, Dad, people looking at you. I said, man, I don't care. Let them look. We get in the roller coaster, and by the way, it wasn't a big one. It was a kiddie roller coaster. Don't y'all judge me. We get in there, and I'm standing there, and we get in the little thing, and he's in front, and I'm sitting there like, man, we're going to die, man. We're going to die. The thing going to shoot off. We're going to die up in here. He go, Dad, shh. I said, we're going to die. He said, Dad, don't make me come back there. I said, that's strike 2. We're going in a roller coaster, and y'all know how they do, man. They're going up that thing, and then we get into this tunnel. So when we get in this tunnel, I said, man, I'm just going to make my scariest face and do this because the tunnel dark, I'm dark. If they take a picture, they ain't going to see it no way. But how many of y'all know them cameras is good up in there? And I'm all like this in the tunnel. And my kids are like, ah! And I'm all like, oh! They're like, ah! And this big old picture at the end of the ride was waiting on me. I get off the ride, all these little kids around this picture, little bitty girl. Like, that's you? Say, yeah, that's me. Where your mama at? Go find your mama. Was you scared? No, I wasn't scared. I had to go to the restroom. She go, well, did you go potty? And here's what I found out about that ride. See, a lot of you guys think that nobody's looking, and life is taking pictures. So you get up in this ride, and you start doing your face, and you start doing your thing, and you think nobody's watching you when you're doing what you do. But at the end of that ride, life takes pictures. See, my brothers would drink and sneak and drink and sneak and drink, but alcohol caught up to their liver. And by the time it became so messed up, it was too late to get back on another ride called life. It was too late because they start drinking so early because it was cool in the 9th grade. It was cool as a sophomore, and so I'm going to drink till I can't stop. See, when we go down Austin and we go feed the homeless, we'll go this Saturday and we go feed the homeless people. I've not met one of them on the street that said, man, I'm so glad I finally made it. I don't have no house. I don't have no family. I can't function. None of them tell me that. In fact, I even had one not accept my hot dog. I had a homeless dude a hot dog. He said, that got mustard on it? I said, yeah, I don't want it. I said, man, you better eat this hot dog. I'm chasing a homeless dude around Austin with a hot dog. Eat my hot dog. Now, as much as you guys see people act violently negative, I'm violently positive. So when I think about this ride and these snapshots and things taking pictures of me while I'm trying to hide and do my little sneaky look, life takes pictures, and at the end of the ride, here's life with all these pictures that I thought I got away with. See, I've got people that I know thought they got away with sex and shows up with AIDS. I got people that thought they got away with a crime and shows up in jail. I got people that thought they got away with doing something and end up dead. And so what I'm trying to tell you, live in the dark like you are in the light. You can't be somebody different when nobody's looking that you're supposed to be when people are looking. Now, all of that things being said, those of you who are doing good that nobody seems to recognize, life takes pictures of that too. And that's at the end of the ride. Quit waiting for somebody to pat you on the back to do what's right. Quit waiting for somebody to acknowledge you. Do it right because it is right. Now, I have a tremendous friend. And ladies, gentlemen, nobody owes us anything. We're in a society today, we have a black president. So that means we got opportunities to do whatever we want to do. So no more excuses. I'm not trying to hear excuses. Stop hearing excuses. Be what you are supposed to be. And nothing can stop you but you. So I'm listening to this. I have a friend of mine. Now, most people don't do what I do. So when I get out there, I got this one friend who woke up one morning. And he said, man, I got to go tell someone hello. He didn't know who the person was. He didn't know who the person he said, only way I'm going to know who it is when I see him, I'll know who it is. And he drives all over our little town, and I actually live in Round Rock. But like y'all say, when y'all go out of town, y'all don't say you're from Duncanville, you say you're from Dallas. And so he drives all over our little city, pulls in this apartment complex, see this lady with these real beautiful eyes. He said, ma'am, I am supposed to tell you hi. He says, I don't know you and you don't know me, but I know I'm supposed to say hi to you. He said, hi. He goes, no, you don't understand. I woke up and I don't know you. She goes, I understand and I still don't know you and you freaking me out. He goes, no, I didn't know you. I didn't know how I was going to find you. I didn't even go to my job today because the most important thing in my life today was to tell you hello. And the lady was like, you said it, now say goodbye. But my friend said, I don't think I'm done. So he sits down. So it freaks this lady out because my friend's like 6'5", 300 pounds. Like big enough to eat hay and enjoy. And so he's sitting there and she was like, well, what can I do for you? He says, I don't know, but I do know you need to hear me say that I care enough that you are here and that you are alive, and I need you to hear me say hello. She goes, dude, I've heard it. I'm going to show you an apartment because that's my job. And then you got to go. She shows him the apartment. She spins around. She goes, what do you think? And my friend said, well, on the outside you have it together, but on the inside you're falling apart. And that lady burst into tears. And she reached out and she pulled out a note that said, at 5 p.m. today, I plan to commit suicide because nobody cares that I'm alive. And life showed up. Life. Nobody knew about the note but her and life. And somewhere across town, life woke up somebody else to do something for another person they never met. And it changed this lady's life forever. And I know because that lady today is my wife. You guys are demonstrations of power. So your words do count. Your words do count. Your words do matter. Don't get mad at people because they may be doing a little bit better. help those who are around you. See, my wife Rita was ready to check out because she'd been through a number of things. She grew up poor. She didn't have running water till she was 9 years old. So when she went to school, kids made fun of her. Kids picked on her. Well, as she got older, she actually went to college. A guy put something in her drink and raped her. All of those times, this wonderful little girl, who, by the way, during those times, had relatives that was doing the same thing to her. See, I'm not stuck on stupid up in this room. Some of you guys are struggling and fighting things that you're trying to fight by yourself. But you got all of these adults around you. You got wonderful Miss Judd, who ain't afraid of nothing and would walk up to you and challenge you to be a better person and let someone help you. Don't try to fight that kind of drama by yourself, because you will lose. Lean on these other people. And as Rita would come out and begin to be the person that she needed to be to living through this, she would say one major thing: I chose to make my issues a stepping stone, not a tombstone. I'm going to be a product of my past, but I will not be a prisoner to it. And I don't care where you've come from. I don't care what kind of parents you have. I don't care who's abandoned you and who's left you. You may be like I am, and your father may have left you like my father left me when I was 2 years old and left my mother with 6 kids. You may be like that. You may be that person who has to look and find someone. But my story is not that bad. See, I have a great, great stepfather that's still alive today, married my mom with 6 kids. And I'm thinking, dude, how did you do that? Because I know me. I'd have looked at that one, gotta go. And I remember my stepdad, 6'10", would lean over to me and say to me, I might not can give you my blood, but I can give you my heart. And I believe that these teachers here, they are not your mama, they're not your daddy, but they got the heart to help you, and you've got to let somebody help you, and don't get all caught up. You're not my mama, you're not my daddy. We were right. I'm the one here helping you. Do better than that. See, I'm looking at some of y'all like, man, he act all angry. I thought he was a happy little short man. But here's the deal. I know when you're in that transition. I know when you got kids walking down the hallway. See, last year I was at a school, had 4 suicides. 4. After the 3rd suicide, y'all, I went up here and did a speech just like I'm doing with y'all today. Another kid went out and committed suicide. And let me tell you something, I normally don't get down. I get excited about going to the restroom. You know, I get excited about everything. And that for a week, I kind of didn't have it together. For a week, I thought I said everything. I thought I finished everything. I thought I said everything I needed to say. How did that person go out of there with so much life and everybody else, and they died? And see, I realized that even in this room, some of you guys are trying to act for others. Some of you guys are trying to, make other people laugh, and that's cool. Maybe you'll be the comedian that we pass by on our way to our jobs. Some of you guys are trying to make sure people like you and accept you. Hey, if people don't like you and don't accept you, that's their problem. I'm going to tell you what my daughter told me when she was 5. Her name is Miracle. I said, Miracle, what are you going to do when a little girl don't want to play with you? She said, Daddy, when she leaves, so does her opinion. I went, when that person who dogs you out or say stuff to you and mistreat you, when they leave, so does their opinion. Man, I go where I'm celebrated. Don't just tolerate me. I'm here, I'm a person. Don't be somebody's token. Tokens are made for video games and arcades, not friendships. I'm not gonna be your token. I'm the jackpot, I'm the winnings. I'm the one that's what you planned for. You're around me because I'm a winner. And if you don't understand that about yourself, you're never gonna become you. See, I can't get to the end of this life and say, why didn't I become me? See, because if I'm pursuing somebody else, if I'm always pursuing other things, and as I was looking at this speech and I said, I got to get up from here. I can't stay down. I got to finish another speech. I got to get up and move. I actually was thinking about maybe I'm not supposed to be speaking to people when I've been doing it since 1993. I let this one incident fight with me, but then I got up from where I was. And I'm going to tell you something. You need to get up from where you are. And just because you've lost some relatives and just because you've lost some family members, don't lose you. Because I've walked in places where people have nothing to live for, absolutely nothing. And they stand up and they say, I'm going to live for me. So you can't take that advantage. Now, how many of y'all have ever had someone get in trouble in class? How many of y'all ever laughed at that person? Come on, tell the truth. Busted out laughing. Like, man, he's so stupid. Come on, do y'all do it? How many of y'all ever had something stolen from you? Yeah. If you can hear me clap once, maybe you clap twice. So how many of y'all started laughing when somebody stole something from you? I give you a case in point. Now, again, as Miss Judd told you, I fly all over the nation, and I'd had an iPod. I walked up to the counter. I got off the plane, went to the rental car place, set my iPod. I know I set it up there because I had it in the deal. I'm listening to it. And this little lady was helping me with my rental car. I reached down to get my credit card, come back up, it was gone. I said, where my iPod? Now, I'm a motivational speaker, but you about to get it, you know. I ain't tall enough to get on this counter, but I will climb. She goes, oh, you didn't have it. I go, yes, I did. I was just listening to a song on it. I know that heifer got my iPod. I'm telling you that right now. But that did not make me happy. So when you in class, kid gets in trouble, you're laughing. That kid is stealing from you because the teacher can't teach you. And while you're giggling, oh, he's so stupid, you getting dumber. So don't let somebody interrupt your growth by being stupid. Don't let somebody, if you're sitting next to somebody that won't shut up, call a teacher and say, I need to move. This person's trying not to be better. I got to get better. I can't stay here. They don't know what you go home to. Now, you can play that psychology stuff all you want to, and I remember even trying to do that with my own mother. Now, my mom had 6 kids. First kid at 15 years old, she had to get married. Next kid at 17 years old. The next kid at 19 years old had to get married again. The next kid at 24. And then she had us twins at 28. And she got married for the 3rd time. But I'm excited to say that my parents have been married. My stepfather and my mother have been married for 43 years now. She found somebody that would stick. And I look, man, I've never been to Duncanville High School. Man, I was jacked up this morning. See, I only average about 4 hours of sleep. I wake up the same way every morning. See, some of y'all don't like to wake up. I like waking up, because if I don't wake up, that's jacked up. You know, that's messed up, right? And I'm in my hotel, and at 2 a.m., I'm like, ah! And I do this at home, too. But normally I wait till 4 a.m., and I'll scream, ah! Gotta wake stuff up. And then I do it the second time, And I notice my wife is not there, but I could see her coming with a skillet. Yell again. I'm gonna bust you in your head. Bam! What I will not do is be afraid to live. What I will not do is be afraid to tell you what you need to hear. So out of all of us who stands here and stands before you, and you sit there and I stand here, I'm not any different from you. In fact, some of you guys are better at doing this than I am. Some of you guys will have people paying you $2,500, $5,000 per session because you are that good. You are that powerful with your voices, but you're using them to hurt people. And when you can use them to help people. And there's more value in helping than there is in hurting. And if I can get you to just think as a freshman right now, because, well, look, you got something we don't have. You have time. See, all of us have to stand up and say, man, I would have did this differently. If I was a freshman, I would have did this. Oh, you can do that. You can actually make the different decision. But that's totally up to you. See, when I walk around like this and people actually hear all of my story, and I was at college and my baseball coach said, what position I played baseball? What position y'all think I played in baseball? Shortstop. Why? Because it has the word short in it. I know what you're thinking. If it was a position called little bitty person, you played that one. But I remember being in a game, and I was out there at shortstop like this, and we were getting drove. And I remember my coach said, Tori, stop smiling. He said, Tori, if you don't stop smiling, I'm going to pull you out of the game. He pulls me out of the game. I'm sitting on the bench. What was I doing on the bench? Absolutely. He said, what's wrong with you? I said, Coach, this is my regular face. I look like this when you recruited me. I said, we losing though. And you know what happened, man? I've watched kids and kids tell me that they've been assaulted so many times they're afraid to be themselves. They're afraid to smile because some girl don't like it. I went to a school where one girl told all the other girls not to talk to one other girl, and they all did it. I'm thinking, well, who are you? I like talking to people. I do. I talk to people. I talk to strangers. I went in Walmart last night trying to talk to people. But I noticed people don't talk to you when they're at Walmart late. Like I was following people with my basket. Hey, what y'all doing? I don't know you. But if there's just one of you in this room, if there's just one of you that are here that would make that one step, make that one change. See, you don't know and understand that kids think about committing suicide more than you think. See, I don't want to be the reason somebody died. So it's my twin and my older brother, and we've lost several other brothers. But my one older brother that's alive today cries a lot. He used to cry a whole lot. I mean, we'd ask him, man, Steve, what's going on with you, man? Why you cry so much? He said, man, I had a chance to say something and didn't. Man, I had a chance to say something to each and every one of those every time, but I didn't want to make them mad. Look, I'd rather have you alive and mad at me than dead and glad at me. And you need to speak up. Quit letting your friends be stupid. If your friend is in a bad relationship, tell them that person's not good for you. Ladies, don't let somebody rub you all over like just tell them no. Loneliness is not the absence of affection, it's the absence of direction. Hold up. I know you're applauding. Guys, don't let some girl step to you and try to grab you either. You can hear me clap once, hear me clap twice, because we've seen that too. Now, ladies, you want respect, right? Yeah, you don't want the song, R-E-S-P-C-T, finding what it means to be a taker, Jesus, be sugar. You don't want that. But if you want respect, put things and listen to things that respect you. If you're sitting around listening to music that calls you names and you dance to those names, what are you calling yourself? I'm stupid. I got me 5 of them. Like, wait. You ain't got 5 of these. You ain't got 5 of me. You can hear me clap once. Hear me clap twice. So as we stand up and see you guys, and I'll tell you the worst case of bullying that we ever ran into, and me personally and my family. My oldest brother, now my biological father, he was into prostitution, he was a pimp. My uncle was a pimp. I had a brother that was a pimp, and that's the way my family grew up. And people think that's funny. It ain't funny when you watch a woman get beat with a coat hanger. It's not funny when you watch a woman get beat with a pool stick. That ain't funny. I play baseball. I've never heard a hit harder than that. That's not funny. But my brother, my last brother that would be murdered here in Dallas. And somebody wanted his women. So there's a group of people sitting at the table, and as they do, and all that junk y'all see on TV where y'all see, they're exposing you to what they really are. And someone put something in his drink. And he drank it, and they don't know, they don't care that he had severe asthma. My brother would go back to his hotel room, fall asleep, and he would try to throw up in his sleep, and he died of strangulation. No murderer's ever been found. Nobody said anything. And I'm telling you, the people who watch a bully is just as guilty of being a bully. Don't watch somebody hurt somebody else. You want to talk about angry little man. You guys have got to speak up. You can't let someone just keep getting abused or terrorized while you sit there. My brother's dead. He's gone. We're not getting him back. And there was a group of people who got up and walked away, never said a word. And they didn't pursue it because of the lifestyle he lived in. We want you to be better than what you are right now. I'm not your best friend. I'm a mentor. Best friends accept you the way you are. I love you too much to leave you that way. Best friends accept your weaknesses. I'm here to remove them. I don't want to be your best friend. I want to be like little kids. Y'all know little kids are honest, right? Little kid will tell you, your breath stink. A little kid be like, Man, you need to get a Skittle or something. No, I'm not lying. I go speak, I'm telling you. I speak all over the nation. I'll speak and I'll do like trainings with kids and team building. I have some like 192 kids. It's like I have them for like 5 hours. But they'll tell you, mister, you're making me cry. Or if you got something in your nose, little kid be like, let me tell you how to get that. Don't ask a little kid how you look in these pants. They will tell you. And a lot of times you guys have stopped being honest. You won't tell your friend when they're making a mistake. Your friend will tell you they're about to go out drinking and go out smoking, about go out doing some stuff, and you won't stand up and say, hey, look, man, I've lost relatives to that. I'm just not going to do it. Or you don't need to do it either. I care too much about you to join in with you. And I was looking at that, and I was thinking, so this little dude, check him out. These little elementary kids, he jumps up on the stage. I'm down there working with these kids, and I call him my little bullet hole pal. The little dude jumped on the stage, little bitty dude, man. He's in 5th grade. He said, Mr. Torrey. I said, what? He said, where your hair at? I looked at him. I said, man, where your teacher at? Go find your teacher. Get away from me. It's break time. Give me a break. He said, no, Mr. Torrey, I need to know, where is your hair? I said, you need to know where is your teacher, and you need to go find her. Leave me alone. He wouldn't. Little dude jumped on the table, got up in my face. I told you. I won't know where your hair is. I said, man, why you messing with me? Tell me where your hair is. He's screaming at me. So I said, okay, man, my hair's at home. Where is it at home? It's in the sink. He said, go get it. I said, I don't want it. He said, you need it. I said, man, why you messing with me? He said, Mr. Torrey. And he pulled up his little pants leg and he showed me the bullet hole. He said, Mr. Torrey, my uncle and my dad thought it was funny. They got drunk and they had pistols and they thought it'd be cool to shoot at the kids' feet to make us dance. And they hit me. And he said, Mr. Torrey, I've never seen a man work before. He said, I've seen a man sleep and lay around and lie. I've seen a man walk into the house and the food I was eating, I saw him take it. I watched a man take money from us. I've watched a man rob, steal, cuss, slap people that I know. But I've never seen one work before until today. And he says, I know what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be you. I thought that was amazing. I did the same thing y'all did, right? I was even inside giving myself a little applause. Oh, you complete me. Little dude looked at me, he said, but Mr. Torrey, I need to know, when I get to be your age, where we keep our hair at? Said, leave me alone, you little devil. He was, and I remember that kid like it was yesterday, that somebody needs to stand up. And you guys, some of you guys in here are talkers. Some of you guys don't know what to do with your mouth. Well, in class, close it. But you need to use it when it's the right time, because it is worth something. Your words are valuable. People need to hear from you specifically. Now, I'll tell you something. I don't have any right to stand here just like you don't. But I've chosen to make a difference. Chosen to make a difference. Chosen to be that person that I said, I'm going to be everything I need to be, and I'm going to help as many people as I can. Because if I don't, I won't be able to deal with me. Now, one of my favorite things to do, like I told you guys, is work out. I get up every morning, I'll run 1.5 miles, I'll ride a bike for 10 miles, and then I'll go do sprints on the treadmill. 12.0 speed, I'll run for 60 minutes. And then I would get off of there, and then I would go lift weights. Now, if we were in a race, Who do y'all think would win? Why would I win? And y'all would think I would win because I just gave you my credentials for running on a treadmill. It doesn't have to be a running race. What if it's a hair growing race? You win. Don't run my race. See, the problem with most of you, you're here trying to run a race that somebody else was in. See, if you win at my race, I'm going to change the rules. I'll say the second place person wins. You run your race. If you get in somebody else's race, you cannot win somebody else's race. Find out what you're supposed to do, run that the best you can, and do what you do. Don't be anybody else's, don't be in anybody else's race. And I remember being in Atlanta, this little boy, he had gotten in trouble. I said, man, what you doing here? He go, man, my dad is serving a life sentence. And he says, I want to get in trouble so I can spend the rest of my days with him. Is that messed up? Yeah, really, it is, because you ain't going to get to be with him. Really, that's jacked up. You should have did that on the back row, bro. You right on the front row. Oh, not really. You got a deep voice, too. Not really. That was good, though. Not really. I had an episode of Jurassic Park broke out. Not really. You're a freshman? Yeah, deep voice. That's awesome. I wish I could talk like that. Not really. Okay. That's really messed up because how many of y'all know they're not going to just let him be with his dad? They're not going to be up in there, hey, y'all get to be a family here in prison. What happened is the kid would not live his own life. See, again, you've got to stand up and believe you are worth you. You're worth you. And I don't know how or another way to tell you that other than just take what you got right now and use it. See, I can't be anything else. I heard a coach say this once. When you tell the truth, your mistakes become a part of your past. But when you tell a lie, it becomes a part of your future. Your lies don't catch up to you, they wait for you. They're not catching up, they're waiting for you. When you try to do something good, they're going to show up. And I've walked in prisons and I've walked in places where people are angry. Little dude told me one time, I'm going to stab you with my pencil. I said, man, you ain't stabbing nobody. I'm going to stab you with my pencil. I said, they won't even let you have a pencil. Stab you anyway. I said, that's how you got in here. I bet you was trying to rob something with nothing. I'm going to stab you with my pencil. I said, you so little, you run on batteries. I'm going to take your batteries out. Now look, the security guards were laughing because they're like, nobody ever said anything back to this kid. And we face to face. It's like me being called in and getting in one of y'all's faces yelling. Little dude was like, I'm going to stab you anyway. I said, you don't have a pencil. What are you going to stab me with? And he was looking at me like, I'm going to stab you. I said, you know what? Since you won't let it go, you can stab me. I can stab you? He got excited. I can stab you? I said, yeah, you can stab me. He said, for real? I said, yeah. He said, you sure? I said, yeah. He said, for real? I said, that's how you got in here. You don't listen too well, do you? I said, man, I told you you could stab me. He said, really? I said, yes, you can stab me. I said, let's go outside. I said, oh, wait, you can't. Sit down and shut up, okay? There are people who are locked up. And the ones that are locked up and caught up and in their own abuse and in their own hurt, they're going to try to pull you down. And I remember writing this on my Facebook page. The direction you point your head will give us an indication on the direction you point your thoughts. Not having something doesn't give you a right to not being something. See, I didn't have to have a whole bunch of stuff to know that I didn't want to be with what the things that I saw. Now, I remember at those things and standing after funeral, dressing up in black so many times thinking that was the only color we had. Going to each and every one of those deaths, sitting there staring at a casket, watching my mother scream and making a scream that only a mother can make when her child dies. And saying to myself, I don't ever want to put her through that. I don't ever want her to have to scream like that for me. I don't ever want to have her do that. And I remember my mother running to that last brother I told you about, his casket. And I remember when she first saw it, she took off at that funeral home running. And I remember her just stumbling and screaming. And I remember standing right beside her thinking in my head like, I cannot make you hurt like this. Some of you guys, your parents have been through too much. Don't give them a hard time, help them out. Some of you guys have been through a lot yourself. Don't give yourself a hard time. Do your work. Don't make it happen to you again. And do your best. Don't make it hard on yourself. And as I stood beside her and holding her hand, sitting there with her, and I wasn't crying because I'm thinking, this is not going to be me. And looking at him in that casket, thinking, this dude could sing. This dude could do anything he want, but he couldn't live. He couldn't have a life. And as I looked at her and I told her, I said, you will never experience this pain with me. Some of you guys need to be that difference in the family. Some of you guys may be the first one to graduate. You may be the first one to graduate from college. You may be the first one to get your degree and your master's and your doctorate. You may be the first one, but by all means, be it. Do it. Set the standards now. When my twin and I, we got married, divorce is not an option. We told our wives, you get married to us, we keeping you. Now that means we can't be tripping and you can't be tripping. Well, we found out it's a whole lot easier to get married than it is to stay married. We both are still married. In January 30th of this coming year, I'll be married 19 years. Not doing divorce. You set your standards right now. Set your standards right now. What kind of life you want to live? What kind of person you want to be? What kind of thing that you want to stand up and be about? And then you start being about that thing. Now, life doesn't always play fair. You can't help the cards you were dealt, but you can't play them. And I remember knowing about a 15-year-old who had found a gun and he wanted to show his friend. And he had his little sister and little brothers there. And as he pulled out this gun to show his friends, their front door get kicked in and all the kids scattered. One of the smaller kids go down the hallway, the longer hallway, and get caught by this intruder. This intruder was smoked out on drugs. The intruder didn't recognize the kid, but the kid recognized the intruder. It was their uncle. The uncle was so smoked out that he is about to kill this small child, not knowing it's his sister's kid. He's so smoked out. And for some reason, this uncle smashes they had like a chandelier that was sitting on a table. He smashes it, drops the kid, and the kid runs and hides. Would change that 10-year-old kid's life forever. And 34 years later, I stand before you being that kid that was dropped in the hallway. Being the kid that should have died, but will stand before you and make a difference. Because if I should have died then, don't you think for a minute I'm going to stand up here and not give you my very best to say to you what I need to say to you today. Again, not stuck on stupid. I know some of you guys have been that close to giving up and quitting. Some of you guys have had parents look you in the face and quit. Some of you guys have had people walk out on you. The only thing I can tell you is I can't explain what they did. I can only tell you what you can do. Don't walk out on yourself. Don't walk out on you, because the worst mistake you can make is beat yourself. And even as I've said and I've spoken in schools, I actually saw this. I actually watched this. And I do trainings at schools all over. I'm doing a training, working with kids on mentoring and helping others. I watch an adult male come in. I see two girls look up. He walks over to one, gives the one money, walks out of the room. Don't pay attention to that other girl that was looking right at him. Come to find out, both of them were his daughters. He ignored his first child. And we have to do everything in our power to make sure she didn't let that become her statement for the day. I said, now you know where you stand. Now it's time for you to be you. And just because he ignored you, he's missing out on the best life ever. You guys, and listen to me here, Duncanville High School freshman class of 2015, you're going to have to be able to be the ones that make a difference to one another, but you cannot beat the difference out of one another. You've got to be there to help each other out, and you're going to have to be the one that's encourage each other to be what you need to be, because it's not happening in someone's home. It's not happening in their life. It's going to have to happen from one another. And even in that point, you stand up and be you. Now in Austin, Texas, they have a motto in Austin, Texas. It's called Keep Austin Weird. And I thought that was true, but I'm one of those people, I'm gonna do what I need to do to challenge things. So I wanted to test it. I got out of my car, my family was out of town, I was home, which is a bad mix of me being bored. I walked into this place and I just stood there. Everybody in the room stopped what they were doing, looked at each other, looked at me, looked back at each other, and started asking questions. Is he lost? Does he not know where he's at? And for 15 minutes, they wouldn't say a word to me, but they whispered to one another. And I'm guessing, I'm thinking, the reason why they were freaked out, because I had walked into a tanning salon. Now listen, if it's keep Austin weird, why can't I tan? So y'all looking like, what's the problem? I'm already there. I've been begging a friend of mine to let me run into his tanning salon from the back, get in the lobby and scream, bed number 3 is too hot. I was taller and darker, now I look like a California raisin. You have got to learn to enjoy you. And if you don't learn to enjoy you, you're gonna get around people that take advantage of you. There's 2 places. There's 70% of kids, 70% sexually exploited kids, 70%. And let me tell you guys this real quick. 35% of the sexually exploited kids in the nation lives in Dallas County. Now, ninth graders. You're like, man, dude, you've covered everything in this speech. Everything. And it's why it's important that you are sitting next to people who are at the very end of their rope. You're sitting next to someone that really needs your help. They don't need your criticism. They don't need you to talk about them. They need you to help them. They need you to support them. And if you can't help them, stay quiet. Because if you bully, if you push, if you hurt, you don't know what the next step is going to be. The high school I left yesterday, a girl last year went into the restroom, took a gun, and shot herself because everyone picked on her. And a lot of times we just get up and we just keep going. Oh, they shot themselves. Okay. It's not okay. One life is too many. One life is way too many. And we have to stand up and make a difference. You're like, well, I'm just a freshman. My son was just 4 years old. And he was like, Dad, let's ride the roller coaster. And it doesn't matter how big I am on the outside, but if I have fears on the inside, don't just assume that people, because they look big and look confident on the outside, that they're okay. They're not okay. Every one of us. And that's why I had you guys raise your hand. We all have issues. That's why we have to come together and stick together. In my last thing, and I'll give you guys some time to ask some questions. In my last thing, even sharing with you guys about surviving. You can come out, you can be all those things you need to be, you can be everything you need to be, and I'll tell you now, life is great. I love what I do. I have 3 beautiful kids, a 13-year-old daughter, her name's Miracle, 11-year-old son, his name's Jaira, and I have a 7-year-old son whose name is Justice. And they'll travel with me at times, especially in the summertime, to speak. My kids are gigantic. My 13-year-old is my height. My 11-year-old is 5'1", 142 pounds. My 7-year-old is 4'11", and 100 pounds. They're gigantic. Now, we go to IHOP. They love to hang out with me. We go to IHOP, and I ordered from IHOP. They make short jokes. They tell me short jokes. Well, I ordered IHOP. I ordered the short stack. My 7-year-old's looking at me. He's smiling. The waiter brings me my food. He says, I see you ordered the short stack. So I looked at him to explain. I said, yeah, I wanted to get these because he said, I wasn't talking to you, I was talking to the pancakes. I was like, dude, you need a job. You need a job. You need a job big time. And one of the things that I wanted my kids to always see is an example. And I believe in great kids. I believe that there's greatness right in this room. But the thirsty your greatness is mean you're going to have to feed your greatness, not your weaknesses. Feed your promises, not your problems. Feed your future, not your past. And even in one of my greatest moments of living my life, and one of my best friends, we were still playing semi-pro baseball, and he had got a brand new Land Cruiser and TVs in the back, and we're in this car, right? And we're going down to we're in San Antonio, going like 70 miles an hour, brand new Land Cruiser, and we're going to a baseball game, and I'm supposed to be the relief pitcher, and all of a sudden we're in an explosion. Boom! His right rear tire exploded. And we start sliding across the highway. And I go, you see that blue car? We fixed to hit that blue car. Boom, we hit the blue car. I said, you see the median? We fixed to hit the median. Boom, we hit the median. I go, man, I better shut up, because every time I say we're going to hit something, we hit it. When we hit the median, the car began to flip. Now, they said we flipped 6 times. I don't know. I was inside going, this is jacked up. And I remember my friend, he was in there, we gonna die. I said, man, we ain't gonna die. We gonna die. He was screaming. I said, man, shut up. I can't hear the car. We gonna die. I said, if you don't shut up, I'm gonna bust you right in the ear. Shut up. As the car was turned over, I remember seeing my Gatorade. I go, take out my Gatorade. It was flying around in the car. Now, I was convinced, everything I've been through, I'm not dying in this Land Cruiser. And when we landed, we let the car land on the side, and I was on the bottom, and he was on top, and I could feel something dripping on me. It was blood, which really ticked me off because I like that shirt. I shook him. I said, man, wake up. He go, I said, good. I said, man, I'm gonna unbuckle my seatbelt, kick out the window, and then get you out. I unbuckled my seatbelt, kick out the window. The minute I stepped out of the car burst into flames. I'm like, ah! All I hear was scream. Now, how many of y'all know screaming ain't gonna put out no fire? I'm just, ah! People ran up with fire extinguishers. One little old lady had 2 of them. I was like, look at Charlie's Angel up in here. We get my friend out, we give him a towel, wrap up his head because his head was bleeding, and I wanted to call my wife because I wanted to be a good husband. I didn't want some policeman calling, hey, ma'am, your husband just flipped over 6 times. Have a nice day. But the problem with me calling my wife knows I'm a jokester. So when I call her, I said, hey, Rita, Jorge and I were in an accident, and we're okay, but I'm going to have to call you when I get to the hospital. She goes, no, what's the score of the game? I said, no, we didn't make it to the game. She goes, yeah, you're pitching, right? You're relief pitcher. I said, Rita, we're not at the game. She goes, what's the score? We ain't at the game. Stop making me answer these questions. These people looking at me, they think I'm crazy. She goes, you play too much, and she hung up. We had to go get a friend to tell her I was in an accident. And you know the lady said, oh, honey. I go, stop. You might as well be a dose of Novocaine because I am not feeling you right now. I'll call you when I get more information. So I hung up with her, and I'm walking around. I'm shoving my Gatorade in my wallet, in my shorts, and my sliding pants because I don't know the EMS people don't steal. That's my Gatorade. I paid for it. And people start following me. They start following me, and I'm like, what's wrong with y'all? They say, have you seen your arm? I go, yeah, they're right here. At this point, I don't care. I'm just glad I'm alive. And right here, and they said, no, look at the back of your arm. And I couldn't see it, but I was trying to rotate it, and I could see it. And what had happened is, on that last turn, my arm hit against the window and drug along the street, and the glass ripped open my arm. They could see my elbow. Now, I had no idea this had happened. Y'all act like y'all was there. Why y'all didn't help me get my Gatorade in? They could see my elbow. I didn't even know I'd done it because you know why? Even though I'd had something go wrong with me, my friend was in more trouble with the fire. See, you may be having pain, but there may be somebody in greater pain. And I told him there's nothing I can do about it. But it got interesting when the EMS people showed up because here I am with dried up blood on my head. And the EMS person, and I don't know why he did this, when he showed up, he jumped out of the car and said, and he pointed right at me, that man is in shock. And I guess it was because I had the Gatorade in my pants and my wallet. That man is in shock. We need to do surgery on his brain right now. I said, no, you do not. And they start coming after me, so I start running from them. And I'm running around, you can't, it's not my bed, it's my arm. Ah! Another truck showed up. They say, catch him, and I'm juking them, and we're running around the red car. Ah! The third truck showed up, I didn't see it. Big dude gets out. I'm running, boom. I slid straight down, he stood over me. Stop running. I say like I got a choice. You need to tell people when you standing there. He said, what's wrong with you? Man, they trying to operate on my head. Ain't nothing wrong with my head. It's my arm. Don't let them touch my head. Okay. You gonna eat me? See, y'all would sit there and let somebody start messing with your head. I'm like, man, I need to keep the marbles I got. Man, as we ride through there, and I'm sitting on the ambulance trying to play with the tape and the scissors and stuff. Oh my gosh, I gotta hurry. And they get in there and they give me a bucket because this glass and all this stuff is oozing out of my arm. This doctor walks in there and I'm over this yellow bowl. This doctor walks in there. He has a Q-tip. Long Q-tip. He don't say no. I said, what's up, man? And he walks up to me and shoves that Q-tip into my arm. I told y'all weren't there. Stop that. And he starts raking. And all you hear was that glass. I said, Doc, you are killing me. I don't even want my arm. Cut it off. Man, give me Novocaine, cocaine, whatever you can, just cut it. And man, he raked until he could not hear glass anymore. And I said, dude, you better say something now. Because when I become conscious again, I will find you. He said, Torrey, look, sir, we could not deaden your arm because if we deaden that arm with all that glass around it, you'd have glass embedded in your life and you have pain for the rest of your life. And see, some of you guys, if you don't deal with your issues now, you'll grow up with those issues. And that glass is going to surface. And there was only one piece of glass that he couldn't get out. And this was in Labor Day 2000, 11 years ago. This dude said, there's only one piece rolling around. He said, it's not worth doing surgery to get it. But he said, it'll rise up. And in the fall time, that piece would rise up. And you could see it sticking. I could actually scratch you with it. It would stick through my skin. And then about 6 months ago, that last piece popped through my arm. For 10 years, I would have one piece of glass that would mess with me. But let me tell you something. If you would just keep living, the last piece of pain will come out of you. But I need you to keep living. Can you keep living? Daniel Beatty said this one thing. Daniel Beatty said he and his dad used to play a game, knock, knock. Until one day, the knock never came and his dad wasn't doing it. And then one day, him and his mom went to this place and he drove down this place with these long roads and they pulled into this building with all these faces. And as he saw his dad, he sat down and his mom saw his dad was behind the glass and he jumped out of the chair and he ran up to his dad. Knock, knock. And his dad was behind the glass, which his dad was arrested. And he began to say, Dad, I have to write words to heal myself because I don't know who I am because I haven't seen you. I'm starting to forget who I'm supposed to be. I'm a man, but I don't know how to be one. I don't hear the doors that knock that you need to tell me to be. I don't know how to become a man to say, walk like a God, and your goddess will come to you. If you'll be who you need to be, you can stand up for anything. Don't fall for everything, but you have to be you. And every one of you, the best of whoever walked out on you lives in you. You are not the worst. You are the best. You are the first. You're not the last. And you can do anything you put your mind to do. You just have to do it. My man said, preach. Yes. All right, here's what I need for you guys to do, because the bell's about to ring. Here's what I need for you guys to do. Listen, 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 listen. I need you to put one hand up like this. Raise your hand if you know the answer about yourself. Believe in your, come on, believe in your, actions speak louder than. Believe in your, actions speak louder than.